CTV News has confirmed that 6 members of parliament were part of a 30-person delegation that was denied entry into the West Bank earlier today. That confirmation coming from a spokesperson for Liberal MP Iqra Khalid, who was part of the group. The National Council of Canadian Muslims says members of a delegation organized by the Canadian Muslim Vote were refused entry into the West Bank while attempting to cross the border. The council says the goal was to observe conditions on the ground and engage directly with Palestinian and international stakeholders. 5 Liberal MPs and 1 NDP MP were part of the delegation. All have since returned to Jordan. And with me now is Taha Ghayyur, Executive Director of Justice for All Canada. He was part of the delegation that was trying to reach the West Bank. Take me to what happened there, Taha. What were the steps about trying to enter, and why do you understand the reasons were that you were denied?
Well, this morning, thank you for the interview. This morning, we had been there since 9:30 a.m. We were there for about 3 hours, waiting for us to essentially get entry into Israel. We were told without any interview, without any indication or conversation, 3 hours later, we were given basically a blanket denial or essentially not being allowed. And we were told no given specific reasons. All we were told was simply the fact that we are supposedly considered some sort of risk, some sort of a concern that really was not very clear at all. Our concern is simply the fact that we were given no due process to begin with. We actually ensured every single delegate had a pre-approved ETA, which really didn't seem to have been considered in this process. So yeah, that's really pretty much it. For 3 hours we were waiting. We were really given no concrete reasons.
And Taha, there are reports surfacing among other media outlets that there was a question of the funding for one of the organizations behind the group that you were with. Are any of those reports credible, and what can you tell us about that?
We were not given any of those reasons or concerns, first of all, by any individual or security official. We were simply told that you are basically a security threat or security risk and nothing in concrete. Now, I can't confirm any of those allegations. What we know as a delegation here, that none of those accusations are correct.
So you were told, your delegation was told that you are a security risk, a security threat, but without any sort of justification for why that was, why you were designated as such?
That is correct, yes.
What do you think this does to Canadian relations with Israel?
It's deeply concerning, deeply concerning, mainly because when you deny elected officials and manhandle one particular member of parliament for no reason, you are essentially saying that you cannot basically have an informed policy development, that you are saying that really, it does not matter if a member of parliament coming from a G7 country who is given no due process and no consideration. So as far as we're concerned, Canadians and Canadian government should be deeply concerned when it comes to its future relations with the state of Israel.
What sort of work were you hoping to do in the West Bank?
It was supposed to be purely a fact-finding mission to learn more about what is happening in the West Bank, to meet some refugees, meet with Christian, Jewish, and Muslim civil society leaders. That was really the purpose. The whole idea was to engage with the individuals in those spaces and places directly, to learn more about what's happening to the settlements and the settler violence there. That was the whole purpose, but unfortunately, it's an indication of the Israeli government's the Israeli government's ability to not really show any form of transparency. The lack of transparency is really disturbing and concerning as Canadians.
And who was funding the trip? Given that there were 6 members of parliament present, was this funded by the government? Was this funded by an NGO?
These are all purely funded by the NGOs, as far as I understand, individual not-for-profit organizations, charities who are basically funding this trip.
Can you name the organizations who are funding this trip?
Specifically, we're talking about the Canadian Muslim Vote, which is a charity.
And is there any tension between that organization and the state of Israel?
Not that I'm aware of, not that we're aware of.
And so
and of course, they were informed that we are coming, the delegation is coming, they were fully aware.
they knew in advance.
That is correct.
And so what happens to the work that you were planning to do now?
Well, we are hoping, of course, to try other means of getting that information in future. We will be in Amman, Jordan, where we currently are. We are going to be visiting refugee camps here. We are going to be meeting with various civil society groups as well.
Taha Ghayyur, Executive Director for Justice for All of Canada, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.